Okay, the leopard poachers. If you remember last week, we read about Samir and his younger brother Ali, who were out camping in the wild, and they'd spotted a leopard and they wanted to go and see it. And then it got shot by two poachers who called after the boys, who started running away because they thought the poachers were going to come and get them. And they encountered a lot of horrible things, snakes and rock falls, and they decided to climb upwards to see if they could find their camp. They encountered a big spider. They encountered a nest of nasty wasps, and Ali was allergic to bees, so this was especially dangerous for them. And eventually they just sat down, absolutely not knowing what to do or where they are. "Listen," Ali said suddenly. The chopping roar of a helicopter thudded overhead. Samir frowned. "What's a helicopter doing all the way out here? Perhaps it's a search copter looking for us." "No way," Samir replied. "No one knows we're lost, and Mum and Dad weren't expecting us back for ages yet. It must belong to the poachers." They both looked up and saw the helicopter disappearing in the distance. "It's really low," Samir said. "It must be going to land near here. Let's follow it. But be careful, we don't want to get caught." With the last of their strength, the boys broke into a slow jog and followed the chopper's receding clack, 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 clacking sound. "Hey, there's a clearing," Samir said as the wadi widened. "I bet it'll land there. Keep quiet. We've got to stay out of sight." The next second, Samir shoved Ali backwards behind a boulder, forcing him to crouch low just in time. Without realising it, the boys had wandered into the main track through the wadi. A jeep with the top down thundered towards him. In it were two men, one bald, the other bearded with a hat. Lying across the back was the body of a leopard. "That's them," choked Samir as he peered through the branches of the trees. "It's the poachers." Samir looked at Ali's face beneath the grime. His skin was drained of all colour. "We're gonna die," Ali moaned. "Hush," Samir hissed, and the two boys didn't breathe as the men drove past. But then suddenly the jeep stopped and one man jumped out. "Hey, boys," he cried, and headed towards them. "Run," Samir cried, and once again Ali obeyed. Terror fuzzed his brain. He ducked along a narrow side gully, but there wasn't time to look for a hiding spot. The wind was really strong now, and the sand got in their mouths and eyes and hair. All they could do was run and run and run. Then Ali fell. He collapsed from sheer exhaustion and from bee poison and from the fear overload. Samir sank down beside him, trying to prop them both up. The men hadn't turned the corner yet. Somehow he had to save Ali. He had to. With the last of his strength, he dragged Ali behind some rocks and threw some palm fronds across him, and then he staggered back on the path and kept on jogging to lead the poachers away. "Hey, kid, are you okay?" Samir tried to focus on the voice. He felt strong arms supporting his weight. Someone was leading him to a rock. "Sit down and rest a bit, then tell me what happened." The deep voice seemed a long way away, and there was something wrong with what he was saying. Rest, that was it. He couldn't rest, he had to save Ali. Samir jerked to his feet and looked around wildly. Where was he? A man in a red shirt crouched beside him. There were several tents set up around a watering hole, and next to it was the helicopter. He must have gone right round in a circle. How long had he been running? Where am I? He managed to say through thick lips, then choked as the next moment the two poachers in the jeep drove into the campsite. Samir stared in horror. Ali was slumped between them. "Hey, Jack," the bald man called as he got out of the jeep and picked Ali up in his arms. "Look what I found. This little guy was hidden beside the track. He tried to grab my leg as I walked past. Would have missed him otherwise. Then he went and fainted when I grabbed him." Samir's head spun. Ali tried to save him, and now they were both going to die. But not if he could help it. He gave a battle cry and charged at the man. Suddenly he tripped on a rock and lay sprawled in the dust, trying not to cry. He failed. "What's your problem?" Jack said, helping Samir to his feet. "We're just trying to help." Okay, that's the end of this part. Click straight onto the next part to find out how this story ends and if Samir and Ali get away.